All right, hi, it's Mr. C with our Saxon math for today. We're going to be doing lesson 88, which is using proportions to solve some ratio word problems. Now, we've done ratio problems before, we've done proportions. In fact, we've done quite a bit of that lately. And in fact, a few lessons ago, we did cross multiplying to solve proportions and ratios. And so we're going to review that today. And so this is just kind of an extension of that lesson, okay? Proportions are used to solve lots of different kinds of word problems, including proportions, and that's why this is a really great lesson as far as the real world applicability. um, After you finish school, you're going to have problems like this all the time, and so thinking how to think through the problems is the important thing. You're going to forget some of these rules and some of these steps and procedures, but learning how to think through and figure out the problems, that's a really important skill. So we're going to get to practice that today. So here's our first example. The ratio of salamanders to frogs was 5 to 7. Now remember, we can represent ratio in two ways. We can say 5 to 7 like that, or we can say 5 to 7 like that, or you can write it out, 5 to 7. Remember a few lessons ago we'd say the ratio of frogs was 5 as to 7, just as 20 is to whatever. So here we say if there's 20 salamanders, so remember salamanders is the 5, so that's this column, and the 20 is still the salamanders, so that's going to be in the same column. So the one we don't know is going to be in the 7 column. So how many frogs were there? Well, I'm actually gonna use theirs. They're gonna draw a ratio box for you. Now we've done ratio boxes before, but it's been a while. So it kind of looks like this. So we take the ratio, which is 5 to 7. Now they did it top to bottom, I did it that way. So they have 5 to 7, just as 20, so 5 and 20 in the same thing, is to F in the actual count. So you can write it out that way. Then we see that you can just make it like F, or 5 over 7 is equal to 20 over F. In fact, I think they're going to show, sorry, I have to erase. They'll show that here. So 5 is to 7 as 20 is to F. Now we can solve this in two ways. You can multiply 5/7 by 4 because 5 goes into 20 4 times. And then if you do it on the top, you have to do it on the bottom. In this problem, that's the easiest way to do it because 5 goes exactly into 20. So if we did that, 5/7 times 4 over 4 gives us 20 on top and 28 on the bottom. So our answer is going to be 28 for F. However, what they're going to do here is they're going to review what we just did a few lessons back on cross multiplying, and we're going to practice it on this one because on other ones it doesn't go so easily into the other number. So it's good to practice it this way. So here they show that if you multiply 5 times F, you get 5F. And if you multiply 7 times 20, you get 7 times 20. Now they leave the factors apart, and the reason they do that is it makes it easier to reduce in the next step. So we have 5F equals 7 times 20. Now if we want to divide to get the variable by itself, we just divide by 5. And then here we're going to divide by 5 as well. Now, because we left it as 7 times 20 instead of just going to 140, 140 divided by 5, we could figure that out and that works. But it's also really easy now just to simplify this. 5 goes into 24 times, so we can just divide this by 5, divide this by 5, and get the 4 with a 1 on bottom. Now it's just 7 times 4, which again equals 28. So we're going to get the answer doing it a multiple different kinds of ways. We can still get the same answer. So there were 28 frogs if there were 20 salamanders. Same ratio. Okay, now let's try another problem. If there were 3 sacks of concrete that made up 12 square feet, they do it usually this way, 12 square feet, so let's say square feet concrete. Predict how many sacks of concrete, so this is the unknown number, that would be needed to make 40 square feet of the sidewalk. So let's look at their ratio box now. They have, oh good, I did do it the right, sex and square feet. And they just put it in a box here. They called my question mark N. And then again, we can just multiply out and do 3 times N equals 12 times 40. So we would just get 3N equals 12 times 40. Now, in this one, we want to do it that way because we could actually multiply 12 times 40, but that's a really big number, and I don't want to deal with that. And so if we cross multiply, it makes it a little easier. So what they've done is they've actually done 12N equals 3 times 40, I think. Let me make sure they did that. Yeah. So you can do it this way. But what they did is 12 times N to cross multiply, so they get 12N equals 3 times 40. Then we just divide that by 12 and divide, no, that doesn't work. Oh yeah, it does. 12 and 3 have a common multiple of 3, so we can cross that out and go 1. And then if we divide this by 3, we get 4. Then we can look at 4 and 40. We know that 40 divided by 4 equals 10. So then we get N equals 10. Sorry, I stumbled through that a little bit. But we can do it that way, but you can also do it the way I started to do it. So if we just want to do 3N equals 12 times 40, then we're going to divide by 3, divide by 3. 3 and 12, again, has a common factor of 4 and 1. 4 times, nope, that didn't work. Never mind, don't do it that way. Oh man, I'll just erase that part of the video. That gets us to the end, and so we get 3 times 40 on top over 12. Oh, so it worked. The way I did it before is because I hadn't divided by 12 on that side. So they did do it this way. Again, if we cancel that out, the 3 and the 12 on the bottom, 3 turns into a 1, and the 12 is a 4. 40 divided by 4 equals 10. So that's how they got that. All right, and that should do it for this time. This will just be good practice for you. You can look at this problem, practice it if you want to. Here are the answers for it. All right, good luck.